It's been the most horrific summer for summer drownings in New South Wales in our history with 28, and there's a few variables there, but predominantly this has been the first true hot Australian summer, and we just seen the beach visitations just massively spike right up and down the coastline. No COVID restrictions, there's no international domestic travel border restrictions, and everyone was just trying to get out and recreate somewhere along the New South Wales coast.
Now, as we mentioned, rip currents were the cause of almost half of the beach drownings. Is it the case that are rips getting worse or they're changing, or is it just the case that people don't know what to do still if they're caught in a rip?
Yeah, look, well, out of the 28 drownings in New South Wales, every one of those were in an unpatrolled location. And that means no lifeguards or lifesavers on duty. So people are actually going to locations where there were rips, there's no flag set in a safe location, and inadvertently they're putting themselves into danger going to what would be a picturesque location, but somewhere where there's just no lifesavers to save them.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, as you say, it's been a really hot summer, a lot of people wanting to go to the beach, but you can't go to patrol beaches all the time. There are times you just want to take a quick dip. I read about a really sad case recently about a man who went for a dip in Manly and his body has not been found, but police and people on the beach found his belongings on the sand, and I think that's really sad. There's a family somewhere that had to be notified that this person is no longer with us. What happens if you do go to an unpatrolled beach and you decide to go and have a swim by yourself?
Well, look, we have to admit that this is just going to be a reality moving forward, just with the increases in population. If you do decide to swim in an unpatrolled location, and again, we'd always say, just come to our red and yellow flags. But if you go to an unpatrolled location, you need to have a plan. A plan, one, if you get into trouble in the water, but secondly, a plan if you see someone in the water, because out of those 28 drownings, 5 of those were people that went in to rescue someone else. And it's just so tragic that the rescuer doing the most heroic actions, and in this case 5 of these were parents of children trying to go in and save their children.
And you can understand that impulse. If you see your child in trouble in the water, as if you wouldn't just rush in, but what should you do instead?
Yeah, so, and again, I'm a parent, I would do exactly the same thing, but if you're at an unpatrolled location and you do see someone in trouble, the first thing is to ring 000, because we can get our lifesavers and lifeguards from nearby locations there pretty quick. But if you make that decision to go into the water, 2 things: you have to be confident with your swimming ability, but the most vital important thing, just take something that floats. Anything that can keep you and the victim afloat. It could be an esky lid, it could be a pool tube, it could be a boogie board, anything until we can get our lifesavers or lifeguards there, because predominantly that has always been the story. Someone's gone in to try and save someone, they couldn't keep themselves and the victim afloat, and inadvertently they both have drowned.
You know, Stephen, these statistics of course are related to coastal drownings. We haven't even considered drownings in backyard pools, in rivers, in floods as well. How do you keep yourself safe, in any body of water? Yeah,
look, and again, it's if you're swimming inland, you really should swim somewhere, with a partner, with a buddy. Swim somewhere that you actually know is a safe location, because there's so many inherent dangers inland. The pools, again, it's about supervision with the children around the pools. It's about the lock fences. Importantly, and it's something that we've seen so much this year, it's so important to know how to do CPR. If there's a message that's coming out of this, we have performed so many successful resuscitations on the beach by our volunteers this year that we've never seen this amount ever before. But if I can give a message to anyone, learn how to do CPR. It could save your life, it could save your family's life, or a bystander's life as well.
Just finally, Stephen, 81% of the victims were men. That's so high, such a large proportion of men. Why are men more likely to drown in these scenarios?
Yeah, look, I think just men have greater risk appetites, and they have risk-taking abilities that just put themselves in these situations. Females, I think, have a lot more common sense than the men, but really tragically, year on year we see young Australian men are a high proportion of our statistics in New South Wales, but again, it's just that risk-taking activities that they partake in.